Every road has an ending. Some end in oceans, some in city lights. Ours ends in a mountain town built on coal dust and ghost stories. Jim Thorpe, Pennsylvania, a name borrowed from a legend, built on hard work, tragedy, and folklore. The kind of place that wears its history like a scar, visible, weathered, and proud. It's here the road stops, for now. The Jim Thorpe ParaCon, the perfect stage for a strange family we've gathered along the way. Every town has its ghosts. Some are legends, whispered through time. Others are just people who never found their way home. Haunted Travels isn't about cheap scares or Hollywood horror. It's about the real places, the diners, back roads, forgotten buildings where history still breathes. We go where the story lives, where the past doesn't rest quietly and the present pretends not to hear it. From small town folklore to America's most haunted landmarks, we're chasing the echoes that refuse to fade. Because sometimes the most haunted places are the ones that still feel alive. The drive from Gettysburg to Jim Thorpe isn't quick. It's the kind of trip where the miles start stacking up. The coffee wears off halfway, and the GPS keeps reminding you just how far you've decided to go for the love of ghosts and good company. You watch the landscape change, farm fields giving away to mountains, the roads tightening and curling as the towns creep closer on the map. By the time we roll into Jim Thorpe, the day's already in motion. We are a bit late for setup, but that not too late. We made it, and sometimes that's just what really counts. So I made to Jim Thorpe, Pennsylvania for the first ever ParaCon here, so we're going to have fun. I'm actually here at Black Lantern Paranormal, and of course, ghostly images of Gettysburg. The ParaCon is held at the Opera House downtown, an old building with that perfect mix of history, dust, and good acoustics. The kind of place that's seen more than it's let on. Our tables set, banners up, gears out. On one side of us, it's ghostly images of Gettysburg. On the other side, it's Black Lantern Paranormal. And next to us, our friends Jess and Jim from Lost Souls Paranormal, the kind of neighbors you want at a con, the kind that turn a simple table into a small community. Jim Thorpe ParaCon isn't huge. This isn't a stadium show or a convention center labyrinth. It's small, intimate, not many vendors, but a lot of heart, and more than a few great speakers. Between manning the table, catching up with friends, and sneaking glances towards the stage, the day moves fast. Too fast. Of course, while we're here, we're actually going to go take a little walk around town. And maybe go to the Silly Goose. And we're going to check out all the fun stuff there is to be had here in Jim Thorpe with what little time we have. Eventually, the pool of the town wins. You can only sit behind a table for so long before you need to stretch your legs and see where you actually are. Jim Thorpe doesn't disappoint. Small streets that slope and twist, each one lined with little shops dressed up for Halloween and fall. Pumpkins on steps, skeletons in windows, leaves piled in corners like they're waiting for a ghost to kick through them. It feels less like a town and more like a movie set. As we make our way to the square, shops shoulder to shoulder, each one with its own personality, each window a little world. There's one place I've been dying to check out, the Silly Goose. I've been following this guy from this place on TikTok for a while now, watching little snippets of this tiny Jim Thorpe shop from a screen back home in Gettysburg. Stepping inside feels a bit like walking into a video you've watched too many times. We look around, laugh, take it in, then drift back out onto the street, letting the town carry us along. Eventually, the break ends and duty calls. We end up back at the Opera House, its old brick and worn, steps looking even more familiar now. We say our goodbyes to the people who stop by the table to talk about the haunted Gettysburg, ghost tours, and the paranormal, weird, beautiful world we share. Then it's time to load up the car and let Jim Thorpe fade into the rear view. On the way out, the mountains loosen their grip, and the town slowly gives way to the open road again. Before dinner, we pass through Lehighton and pay a brief nod to the statue of Colonel Jacob Weiss, a reminder that Pennsylvania never quite lets you forget its history, even when you're just looking for something to eat. We end the night at Bonnie and Clyde's Pub and Grill in Lehighton, the kind of place that feels instantly familiar, even if you've never walked through the door before. Drink hits the table first, cold, earned, then comes the food. Comfort on plates, the kind of meal that doesn't try to impress you with presentation, just with the simple fact that it tastes good and there's plenty of it. Surrounded by friends, talking about the day, the con, the town, and the strange little corners of Pennsylvania we keep finding ourselves in. It feels like the end of a shoot and more like the last chapter of a really good book. The drive home is quieter, not because there's nothing to say, but because it feels like we've already said a lot this season. Haunted houses, oddity expos, cryptid cons, back roads, waterfronts, tiny shops, and huge sandwiches, all of it stitched together by the same road and the same question. Why are we so drawn to the dark, the strange, the haunted? Maybe it's because the weird stuff feels more honest. Maybe it's because chasing ghosts is just another way of chasing stories. And in the end, we're all just trying to find our place in one. Season 1 of Haunted Travels comes to a close, not with a scream or a jump scare, but with a car full of tired people, a trunk full of gear, and a head full of places we're not ready to forget. The road will be there when we're ready. The stories will wait. This isn't the end, just the end of the first chapter.